Welcome back to my channel. I have been missing in action for a while. I haven't uploaded a video for a couple of months at least now, and I just needed to have a little bit of a break and a little bit of a recalibration to sort of figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to show up here. And I've done that. I also sort of needed a little bit of a digital detox. I'm not into detoxes, but when it comes to digital ones, sometimes I feel like I need to just kind of step back from it all. And it's hard when you're creating things for social media because you kind of have to go on there. And I just found myself getting in a little bit of a rut where I guess I was doom scrolling a lot, and I was finding myself getting very anxious and checking my phone very regularly. And I just thought I need to step back, and I need to try to change things and make it a little bit I just needed to bring myself back to the important things in life, and then slowly come back to it after I've found a more balanced way, I guess, to show up here and be on social media. So I think the other thing I was getting really frustrated with is I was trying to sort of follow a formula. They say you've got to put up a video every week, and on Instagram you've got to, got to post every day, and all of these like expectations about how you should do this. And I just found it quite hard, to be honest, and sometimes I just don't feel like filming, and sometimes I don't feel like I have anything to share, and then I felt like it was forced. So I would sort of force myself to make a video or to show up and do something, and then I didn't feel like I was being authentic because I was just sort of trying to do something that I wasn't really feeling, if that makes sense. So I guess from here on, I'm just going to go with the flow and do what I feel is best, and rather than what the algorithms and everyone else says you should do. And I think hopefully that'll mean that I show up here more authentically, and I share things that I'm ready to share, and things that I think I want people to know, or to show you and teach you and share with you. Excuse my dog in the background. And if I'm not feeling it, and I feel like I just don't want to pull the camera out, or I don't have much to say or to share, then I just won't. So I will try to get a video out each week, but like I said, if any week I feel like it's just not happening, then I won't. I'll skip a week, and you might see me in the next week or so. That's kind of what I'm going to do from here on. So that's why I had a little break, bit of a reset, and I'm coming back and doing it my way. Okay, so next thing is today's video. I think I'll just do a catch up as to where we're at, what the garden's looking like. It's midwinter, so there's not a lot happening. We've got things growing in the garden, but growing very slowly, not really harvesting a lot from the garden at this stage. We're just trying to get a few little projects and cleaning up and more fencing after the fires and that sort of thing. So I'll give you a bit of an update and just show you where things are at the moment, and then hopefully in the coming weeks I'll have some other things to share with you. So maybe first let's head out into the garden, and I'll give you a quick tour and just show you what's happening. All right, let's head out into the garden. There's a little bit of sunshine today, some blue skies. I'm not sure if you could see that, but partly cloudy. We have had a bit of rain. Actually, I meant to check the rain gauge while I was here. We had about 20 mils over, I think, 3 days. It was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, really not. Less than 1 mil. Not much at all. Yesterday we really only had a couple of showers, so I didn't think there'd be much. All right, coming into the garden, and I'll show you a bit about what we're working on. We do have some new garden beds that we're working on over on the side there and in the corner, and I'll tell you a bit about what we have planned for there, but I'll flip you around and show you what's growing in the garden. So this is our first raised garden bed, and this is usually where I try to grow sort of greens and things and herbs that I can come out and quickly pick, because it's close to the gate. And I've been growing radishes, and they have been growing really well at this time of year. Actually, some of those, I don't know if you can see that, they need picking. So I've been growing radishes, and I should probably put in some more seed because these will be harvested soon, and I should put like a succession planting and put another lot along the back there. I also have some beetroot which needs to be thinned out. As you can see, there's probably too many growing together there, but a couple of rows of beetroot there. This is a thyme, which I did cut back. I probably need to cut back a little bit more, but it's just starting to kind of regrow. And then I've got some lettuce. There are some weeds in there. They're a clover by the looks of things, so not too fussed about them. And then these are, now I'm trying to think, I think some are perpetual spinach, which are very much like a silver beet, and others are silver beet or chard. But I've got some beautiful lettuce that most of this actually self-seeded. Some mini cabbage, both of those are mini cabbage. I had to sow the seeds because bugs got to them. And in there are some, I think that's either spinach, or I think they might be the spinach actually in there. And I've got some red leaf. I'm not quite sure what the variety was, but like a red leaf lettuce in there. Lettuce grows pretty well. It's slower to grow, but it does pretty well in the winter. And this is my sage, which I think is dead. I chopped it back. It might come back in spring. I don't know. It looks pretty dead to me. So I don't have huge hopes for that. Moving over to this second bed, got more radishes, which again, some of those probably need to be, oh definitely, I'm seeing some big ones in there. Some of them need to be picked. In front are more beetroot in front here, and some, actually I've got a few rows of beetroot, probably about 3 rows of beetroot there. There are some celery growing at the back, which I don't think grows that well in the winter, but it's not doing too badly. These I actually cut back from after summer, and they just started to grow back. So I didn't like pull them out, I just cut them back, and they are starting to kind of do a little bit. So we'll see how they go. I've got a few leek there, and these are some, oh, I've got some weeds I need to deal with, but these are some new leek. So some new leek seedlings, and these ones are more advanced. Over here this is meant to be my strawberry patch, but it's being overtaken by calendula. Calendula grows really well in the winter, as you can see. Look at that beautiful color, absolutely gorgeous. It really, because there's nothing else flowering in the garden really, it's very nice to have these calendula. And when the bees do come out, they generally stay inside mostly in winter in their hive, but on a nice sunny day they do come out and they hang around in the calendula. But it is kind of taking over my strawberry plants. So there's one in there that I probably need to clear some of these. And like there's some growing in the top here that are like taking over, and I've got some weeds I need to pull out there. But there's another strawberry plant in there, another one in there that again is being hidden by calendula. So I just probably need to cut them back a little bit to give the strawberries some space. There's another strawberry in here. Again, they're just being a bit overcrowded, and another one in there. So I might need to thin and chop back these calendula so that the strawberries aren't getting so hidden. Now I'm mostly just growing in the raised beds over winter. I'm not growing anything in, I did put a few sugar snap peas in, but nothing in my other beds. This round bed here has, again, a little bit of colour, which is nice. These are the viola, and these all self-seeded. So I grew some in here, they drop their seeds, and then they just come back, and they do really well over winter. But I've got some brassicas in here. These are cauliflower, mini cauliflower. So you can see the leaves are starting to curl round. So you can see when the leaves start to curl around, as you can hopefully see in there. See how they start to curl around, and that's when the head will form inside there. And over, oh, that's another, yeah, that looks like another cauliflower. You can see the way the leaves sort of curl around. And there might be one in there that's being overtaken by these flowers. I just realised it's probably not getting enough sunshine. I'm going to have to cut these back a little bit. This poor thing's trying to get some sunshine. All right, I'm going to cut that back a little bit to give that some space. Mini cabbage in here, and this I think is just a chard or a perpetual spinach, one of those. And I've got a broccoli hanging out on the side here. So yeah, the brassicas are looking pretty good. This one's pretty much the same. I've got a mix of mini cauliflower and some broccoli. So these ones, you can tell the difference. They're sort of more open in the middle, and they're the broccoli plants. So that's more sort of open, and they'll start to form a broccoli head in the middle there. And then the other ones where the leaves kind of curl around in the middle like that are cauliflower. So I've got a mixture of them in there, plus some greens. I think actually this is tatsoi, which is an Asian vegetable, tatsoi. A few chard, Swiss chard, some more red lettuce. Not really picking any of this yet. The lettuce is probably getting close to being picked. And then I've also got some flowers. I don't even remember what this is. It could be a cornflower. And then that's another flower. Again, I can't remember what it was. Not really good at, I've written it down somewhere, I just forget. And then the last bed over here has parsley growing nicely. So I've been harvesting some parsley. I've got, this is Swiss chard. This is a ruby red chard. So it's got like red stems and leaves. My rhubarb is going all right. It's actually looking better now than it has over summer. I think it really struggled over summer, but it's looking nice now. Some more tatsoi. So you can see this is how the tatsoi grows. That, I can't remember what that is. It's either a cabbage or might be a broccoli, I think. And then I've got some carrots, which won't be ready until probably spring. I have thinned them out a little bit, so you've got sort of a few rows, and the ones that I did thin out, it's actually nice to see that they've survived. So I thinned them out, and then I replanted them out here, and they've actually survived and done okay. I think it's because it's winter and it's not too hot, so they don't get too stressed. So that's the raised beds. Now, out in these, oh gosh, all the dogs have joined me. They're eating grass. Out in these beds, they're a little bit of a mess, to be honest. I think, can you see all of the lettuce? This lettuce, I had some lettuce growing through here that went to seed. And now, have a look at all the lettuce growing. It's everywhere. It's in the paths. You can see some's growing over there. Some is growing further over there. You can see a little one coming up here. There's some over there. It's everywhere. So the seeds have just blown, and we've got little lettuces growing all over the place. I'm not sad about it. I do probably need to clear the the paths. I need to redo these paths, so they're all going to come out. But I do have some just randomly growing here in the garden. I'm just going to let them grow. I mean, why should I try growing lettuce when they're just like doing their own thing? I'll just pull out the ones I don't need. Now, if you do remember, if you were watching back in autumn, in this bed and in that bed over there, I put in a cover crop, which is this here. It's a clover. And it didn't work out as well as I had hoped. I don't know if I didn't sow the seed thickly enough, but like I know I put a lot of seed through there, and we've only got a few clumps of clover growing. So again, you know, there's some here and here, none through here, despite the fact that I know I put seed. A little bit here, but it's very, very patchy. And now I just have a whole heap of grass growing, which is not ideal. So what I did last weekend, this is quite thick, grown with grass. You can see I haven't really got into over that side, but this is what has been growing. So I've just pulled it out and I've laid it on top of the garden. So I was tempted to pull it out, put it into the wheelbarrow and give to the chooks, but I thought, you know, like, yes, I don't want this growing in my garden, but it is organic matter. So I've just laid it on top. I'm just going to let this just die off on the top and cover it over with some compost, and I'll just like grow on top of it and let it rot down inside. So I've sort of done along here, although the very edges need a bit of work. Here's my dog having a great old chew on the grass. I need to work on this section here. You can see I did put in some sugar snap peas, but they just didn't they didn't all germinate. I think I've only got like a couple, 3 maybe. But yeah, lots of grass and weeds growing through here. I need to clear all this. This is what I was hoping to not have to do. I was hoping the clover would cover everything and I wouldn't have this issue, but it was not a success. Anyway, it was worth a try. I might try a different cover crop next time. So this bed here I have just cleared. So like I said, random lettuce growing, and there was a lot of like sort of dried off grass that was growing on the edges, and I've just thrown it on top so that again it's providing a bit of mulch, and it will provide some organic matter. I've got one random calendula here, but otherwise this has all been cleared. I've just got to try to keep it weed free. And here are all the things I pulled out, and we had some really windy weather and it's all blown out of the wheelbarrow. I need to go and get rid of that. And around into this bed. Now I'm just going to stop for a minute because there's a neighbour coming with a tractor and it's going to be a little bit noisy. Okay, the neighbour has passed with the noisy machine. This bed is full of grass. I am going to have to deal with that. That might actually be this weekend's job. I'm going to clear out, and again, not much clover. A few little clumps, like there's some in there in amongst the grass and weeds, a little bit there, a little bit in there, but just like not really much. And this is just like full of grass. Look how long it is. Anyway, so I'm going to have to clear this one and find a way of trying to keep these beds clear of weeds. I think I may have to just chuck some mulch over the top. Might be the best thing to do. And over on the end here, these are snapdragons, I think. Now I thought snapdragons were annuals, and I put these in spring and they are still going. I cut them back, all the dead flowers, And they've survived. They've survived the frosts. You can see there's actually some flower heads coming up. So we're gonna, like, it is going to flower, and it just looks so healthy. I honestly didn't think that would be the case with those. I thought they'd be dead by now, but still looking really, really good. So I'm just gonna leave them in there and see what happens. This bed's again a little bit of a mess. Oh, I've just noticed that there is a borage. That's blue borage, which I did have growing along here. So this would be from a seed. Interesting that it's, I wonder if it's going to be frost tender or not. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes, I guess. There is a little bit of clover growing through here next to it. But yeah, this bed haven't really done much with. I need to probably do a little bit of a weed and clean up. But you can see through here, it's calendula, and this is it's a brassica of some sort. I don't know what, it's more like growing like a weed, but there's plenty of flowers. Can you see all the little flowers on it? And I'm very reluctant to pull this out unless I really need to. I'm just letting this whole bed here and here just grow messy. It is my flower garden. But I'm gonna let it go messy. I'm gonna let these brassicas do their thing and flower, because when the bees do come out, they actually love it, and I really don't want to take away a food source from them. But you can see in between how much calendula is growing, and then this bed. And you know what, this is, oh, there is a bee now. Let's have a look. So there is a bee. Oh, not sure if you can see it. There is a bee just there. So the sun's come out and they've warmed up and they're coming out for a little bit of a forage. They're not as active as they usually are, but it's a bit cool for them. But yeah, so this is very wild. I'm just letting it be wild. It's not growing weeds apart from these brassicas. So yeah, I'm just leaving it as it is. Now the greenhouse, I'm not really growing much in here. I'm just preparing them for the beds for, actually these need a water. I really better do that today. They're looking, I did plant a couple of things that are looking a little bit wilted. I need to give them a water. But I've got 2 red Drummond cabbages here, which are growing really nicely. I've tried growing these out in the garden, but they take so long to grow, and in winter they just grow really, really slowly. And I just haven't had a lot of success. So I thought that I would try them in the greenhouse so they've got a little bit more warmth. And I'm hoping by the time they grow and they're ready to be picked, then I can pull them out and make space for tomatoes and capsicums, which I'll grow. This one here is just a broccoli, which is looking a little sad. I need to come out and water. I have topped this up with manure and some compost and chicken manure. Okay, well that might be the end of today's video. Just a quick tour, show you what's going on. The only other thing that we're trying to work on is still a little bit of fencing. We've pulled down most of our fencing, and it's all actually up near the gate. Their council are going to come and pick all that up for us, all the old fencing. We've got one more fence and gate to put up right at the very back of our property, which, yeah, it's all cleared. And we've bought the posts. We just need to get that up. So maybe in the next couple of weeks, we're hoping to do that. And then the fencing is done in terms of recovery from fire. Okay. Sorry, I had to go off. Our fruit and veg box from Farmer's Pick just arrived. So as I was talking, I saw the van pull up. So I've just gone and got that. Obviously, we're not harvesting much from the garden. A few radishes here and there, some parsley. The greens will get going soon, but we just don't, yeah, we're not harvesting much at all. So that's where the farmer's pick box comes in. The other thing I was going to say, I talked about the fencing. And the other thing we did was move the bees. So we might, probably getting closer to spring, I might do another video on an update on our bees. For if you were watching previously, one of our bee hives was burnt in the fires. So, but 2 survived. So we've got like the flow hive one and then another regular hive. We moved them. So we've moved them up into, I'm not sure if I can show you, I'm in the greenhouse, but that's our front gate there. And then we have a paddock over on that side. So we've put them up in there. And they're closer to the house, easier for us to access and go and check on. But also in the event of any future fires, they are close enough that we would be able to defend them and make sure that the fire doesn't get to them. Where they were right up the back of our property, we couldn't get to it. It was too dangerous. We didn't even know if they survived. We couldn't even see what was going on. So we've moved the bees. So that's probably one of the other things that we did recently. That was before, that was in autumn. So we did that before winter, and they're now kind of mostly bunkered away. Is that the word? Anyway, bunkered into their hives, keeping warm for the winter. I've also been learning a lot more about the bees. I bought a really good beekeeping book. Yeah, I think we'll be sort of doing a bit more with the bees now that we have a better understanding of what we need to do with them. So there'll be some future episodes. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. It is a really nice day. There's some clouds coming over and I'm hoping it's not going to rain. It's just really mild. It's not too cold. It's not too windy. And I really want to get out here in the garden and get some things done. So I will see you all next time. I think what I might do next is a day in the life of a homesteader in winter, like a winter version, and just show you how things change in the winter in terms of our routine and what we've got doing. So that might be the next one. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you are interested in Farmer's Pick, I do have a code. So I can get a small commission if you join up via that code. I'll leave it down below, but go and check it out because honestly, it is such fresh produce. And I get it once a fortnight, and I've still got a little bit of produce left, not much, from 2 weeks ago, and it's still okay. So it lasts so much longer. I got so sick of buying things from the supermarket and finding in less than a week, it wasn't any good. This is really fresh, and it really does, last a long time. So go and check it out. It's really, really worth it, and quite economical when you kind of compare the amount of fruit and veg you're getting compared to buying that in the supermarket. Anyway, I'm going to go. See you later, and I'll be back very soon.